It's super nice to have you here. I hope you're not too tired by the evening or by being in the morning. Today we will speak about accessibility and inclusion. And the concept of accessibility is interpreted more to on a level of interaction, while inclusion on a level of processes. This is like a major issue, as I'm sure everybody know, and theme in worldwide, and so that's why we are here, SDD Milan and Seoul together. The Korean team conceived it as a topic as starting from design for all, and rather implementing in design involving all stakeholders. And whereas Milan team attachment to the topic is reinforced by the fact that there is a European policy on the matter. And so that's why we are here. And yeah, I'll give you back the word, Joe.
So if you're wondering what are service design drinks, they're like open and informal meetings to bring the design community together from Seoul to Milan. So today you are meeting me and Silvia Rossetti. I'm Giulia Di Gregorio. But we are part of a bigger team of more than 10 people. And especially I want to thank Andrea Taverna and Lucia Viganego, who have been running the team with me in the last 12 months. But actually, it's been 9 years that Service Design Drinks has been founded with more than 40 events, 150 speakers, and more than 3 event format, from editorial events, like the bigger ones, to smaller workshops, on conferences and panels. The stage to the Seoul team.
Thank you, Julia. It's really beautiful that SDD, Service Design Drinks, is a abbreviation, and it's actually started from Milan. And now we also have one in Korea, Seoul as well. And this is a really beautiful moments that we collaborate together. So Jung will introduce about our organizer and about our organization a little bit.
Ciao, buongiorno. I'm MJ, and my first service design drinks experience was in Milan 2016 when I was in Politecnico di Milano. It is an honor to introduce the Service Design Drinks Seoul today. Our community is organized with the 4 designers, YoungGuk, who will present his achievement at the National Policy Design Korea today. Hyunju is a creative facilitator in Concepera Studio, Netherlands, and the Hwang Ji-hee designer is organizing the Young Talent Board in Service Design Network. We started the community to connect the service designer in Korea and abroad. We empowered the capacity and extended the design. The new insight and the ideas from the challenges are achieved by design-driven approach and communication. We aim to bring new ideas and inspiration to Korean service design sector. We continuously spread and extended the vision of the service design from public social design to innovation. Thank you again for your participation today, and welcome Milanese. Today's speaker first is YoungGuk Jung, who is working in the National Policy Design, and then second is Claudia Pollina, design for the public sector, and the third is Byung-suk Kim, CEO of Missionit, and the last, Francesco Vergani from the PhD Service Design, Politecnico di Milano. I'm glad to introduce the 4 of them, and then let's start with the first speaker.
Hello, good to see you all. I'm YoungGuk. Children are vulnerable members of society and cannot live without care. They are all around us. We have an obligation to include these children in society. The government started the All-Age Spring School program this year nationally widely, but it has stirred controversial discussion. In South Korea, women are in career break after pregnancy and child raising. 59% of women pause their careers before their children get to 12 years old. Then, why children can't get enough care even though women sacrifice their careers? The capacity rate of after-school care by countries, Korea rates 14, far lower than Denmark, Sweden, and OECD average. Yes, we don't have enough care facilities. Why we are not increase facilities? We can. Korea's population is decreased faster than during the Black Death in Europe. The education sector believes that in 5 years, the population decline will influence the facilities. So we can simply make more child care facilities. Starting in 2023, the policy for expanding daycare at school is mandatory. The policy is operating and managing child care program from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. in school. This policy is one of the solutions to accommodate working parents and children. But there's a lot pushback from the education sector. Teachers union says that caring for child is not education, but caring. Where has the most issue? Where has the most working parents but lack of caring system? It is Jeju, the Korea's largest island located in south, like Sicily in Italy. Jeju has the highest percentage of working parents in Korea. 63.5% of households, and has a lowest capacity rate for children care. 86% of families need help. 서귀포 City in Jeju opened the National Police Design Project to expand the role of local community-centered care and governor support to solve the issue with Jeju Police. Identified main stakeholders as children and parents. We did stakeholder interviews. When observing our children in classroom, in the beginning, the children played with friends. However, when some friends left after days, parents pick up. They became more sensitive. They hope to see their mom and bring them home. It is sad to watch the last remaining child. We define that children need their mom's house. The child care program, co-designed with family and forest, is based on the concept of the whole family being together. The first program is forest visit with child and families for weekends and holidays. This builds emotional bond between parents and children. Second, to consider difficult of mobility, we bring the first the classes. To bring the first class Next. Yeah. The bring the class is using forest and natural environment around the schools. It is a forest experience program visiting schools nearby forest during weekdays. The communication between teachers and child carers is very difficult. There is blank space. When they care each children between classes and after school care, we try to solve it with an online service. The third, child care assistant is communication and schedule platform between teachers, parents, and carers. It linked with local child care centers and provide information on child care and forest programs. The AGASU has three solutions. First, online solution can manage the children's care, schedule, and communication between the school and the local community. The other two programs are Bring the Forest to Class and Forest Visiting with Children and Families. This is the last video. Yeah. Thank you for listening. And
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you so much, YoungGuk, for introducing us, expanding the idea of accessibility of not only children as a recipient, but active participants to be part of the development process. And I'm very curious about how this will be developed. I'm sure other participants also have a lot of questions. So yeah, just join us on the comment section or to the QR code link. And I'm excited to welcome for the next speaker. Julia.
Yeah, it's actually it's an honor for me to introduce you like the second speaker of today's event, Pollina. Pollina is a service designer for public administrations, speakers, and coaching service design for public sector. Previously, she was an in-house designer. She's also one of the co-founders of Service Design Drinks Milan, since she believes in the power of communities and peer collaboration. So today she will share her experience as service designer in the public sector. Welcome, Claudia.
Thank you, Julia. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. I hope that you will enjoy. I'm very proud also to be here and to like do this Gemini with Seoul that started the community in Seoul. So very lucky to you guys. Yeah, I today I will present, let's say, my point of view in accessibility and inclusion, since I am part of the team that is like building the strategy and the digital public services in Italy. First of all, I'm Claudia. I'm a Caucasian woman. I have blonde hair and blue eyes, and I'm wearing a blue and gray floral dress. Since we are in spring here in Milano, let's say, it's like sunny. I am a designer I'm a service designer in the public sector. Yes, I work for a central public administration, and it's called Dipartimento per la Trasformazione Digitale, so Digital Transformation Department, directly for the government. And yeah, Julia, please go on. You will do the okay. Okay. And yeah, let's say that the main topic that I deal with in my daily job are public services, digital transformation project, research with users, and let's say that are citizens in my case, and also service design. But it's not just about service design. I work mainly in the registry service, that is like the main service for register, let's say, people, so residency certificates and main data that are part of the basis of the registries in Italy. And I also work in some project that may deal with data exchange, so interoperability of data, and semantics also. I work in the public sector since 4 years now, and let's say that please go on, Julia. The fact, so yeah, access to a public service is not a choice. Let's say in Italy is not a choice, is a right, is a basic right. So in our, let's say, democratic country, but also in Europe is like this. We conceive the public services as a right. So the taking care of the experience of the public services is really important, because please, Julia, the way people interact with public services is the way people interact with government, not just about voting, but really consuming the services is really important. So designing this experience is really important, because if the experience with the service is a failure, then the interaction with the government will be a failure itself. So public service. The public service is a right, but is also not a choice, and should be provided to everybody. Please, Julia. And as a designer, I can say that it depends a lot on how much you are on the proximity to the citizen. So for instance, I work in a national level. So my main role, my main task is to do policies, regulation, guidelines, spread the design methodologies around all the different stakeholders that deal with users. But I am not alone in doing this. It depends a lot as a designer how much you are far from the user. The people that work, the designers can work at the European level or also in a neighborhood level. We will see also the Italian, also the other Italian speaker that will talk about a neighborhood service. So let's say we will see both sides. And this deal a lot with the performance of the service itself. So we design for the people. And when we talk about people, so people that actually leave the country, we are not just talking about citizens that in Italy are more than 60 millions. We cannot forget stateless people, immigrants, people with residency permits, people with disabilities, or people that have all kinds of genders and age. Just to give you some data, go on, Julia, please. People, as you were saying, also in Korea, also in Europe, are getting old. So you were talking about the natality, let's say. In Italy, we have also this problem. In Europe, we have also this problem. And in these two images, you can see that in 2015, we will have a lot of people that will get old. So we are designing also for them. And we are the generation, let's say the 30 years old generation that need to design for them. So we need to get into this, to consider this. Yeah. Also, that are people that have different rights. In Italy, we have, let's say, 3,000,007 people with right permission and stateless people. And this affects a lot on how they interact and they can access to services. Here, yeah, we can see, for instance, a man holding a residency permission, and they cannot have some rights, not the basics rights. Of course, they can go to school, they can have the health system is also for them, but they can not have all the different kind of possibilities that Italian and people with citizenship have. That are people that have temporary or permanent disabilities. And this year will be the 20th year from Legge Stanca. That is a law that was made especially for disabilities. So the accessibility of websites, applications. So in Italy, all the different websites should have this, that is one thing that is called dichiarazione di accessibilità, so accessibility declaration, that state if the website or the application is accessible for the user. And there is also the thing that people can also speak different languages. In Italy, we have 12 linguistic minorities, and also there is this law that say that we should provide for the linguistic minorities the website and the public service, the digital public services also for this kind of people that doesn't speak Italian as a mother tongue. So as a designer, what I can say is that we should change and be more responsible designer. Apply more responsible design. So we should have an approach, an holistic and systemic approach. We should change, or let's say move to a people-centered design. We, as designer for the public sector, we don't use generally persona or target audience. We prefer talk about extreme personas, really to like deal with extreme cases. As a designer, I like a lot to read book about ethics or anthropology. So embrace an ethical code as a designer is really important when you deal with public sector. The other thing is that most of the time my brief is not a marketing brief, but is really a law. So policy design is really is really something that affects a lot the way at the end people will interact with the service. And another thing that I wanted to say is that when you move to the public sector, you really embrace a lot the open design and communities empowerment, because you really like enter into less ego and more, let's say, community mindset that helps a lot in this case. I collected four examples. There is this book about Sabine Junginger that wrote her master thesis, I think 20 years ago now. Not master, it was a PhD, transforming public services by design, and is really interesting. And it talks about the fact that design nowadays is used for the policy implementation, but it should like move in, so go back to the policy making itself to help policymakers do better laws. So practice policy design will be very interesting. Then there is this very interesting example by GovUK that provide accessible personas that is really useful for research. First of all, because you can really have some sets of personas that have disabilities. Generally disability that affects the view, the possibility to see well, but also others. For instance, if somebody doesn't have an hand, it also is a disability. So you must write just with one hand. So it's very interesting, and so I wanted to share this. There is also I work in this context, and I wanted to share also the Designers Italia and Developers Italia example that are two open communities of designers and developers that have let's say the goal of spread the design mindset and the open source mindset within the public administration. And there is also this book about Mike Monteiro, the American Mike Monteiro, a designer that proposed an ethical code, and he also wrote down this ethical code in GitHub. And if you want to translate it in Korean, will be really interesting, because he opened it to everybody for the translation or for the change, really as a open design with an open design mindset. So you can check this, and I translated it in Italian. So if you want to translate it in Korean, it will be really fine. So he says that designers should be responsible for the work they put in the world. So as David Bowie changed it a lot of times, turn and face the strange.
Researches usability for groups that receive less attention, like elderly and disabled people. Next. Next. I think that design can bring about physical changes, and that media content can change public perceptions. By combining these two, we can move toward a sustainably inclusive society. This is the reason we handle both design and content. Next page. Since establishing Missionit in 2020, we worked on collaborative projects on accessibility for the disabled, inclusion, and social value of design with global corporations and institutions. We conducted more than 200 group and one-on-one interviews with disabled and elderly users. We are also publishing the MSV Social Impact Series. This provides insights on considering underprivileged groups when developing products, service, and spaces. If you'd like to translate it in Milan, please let me know. And next. This was our brief company introduction. I'd like to tell you about 3 ways of thinking to create inclusive design. The first is rethinking standards. Next page. On the far left is a common water purifier in Korea. Next to it is a stick. One person I met has rheumatoid arthritis, which means she can't stand up. So she used the stick to press the button, but she can't reach the buttons on the top. This means she can't choose cold or cool water. Next, what about this refrigerator in the middle photo? Someone who's sitting down also can't use the upper part of the fridge. Can you see where the person's arm can reach? Just the middle part. The third photo is an apartment entrance in Korea. There is a support step for children. That's a green one below. Because of this, people in wheelchairs are not comfortable getting close and pressing the button. These three examples show you that many product and space standards are tailored to people who are standing. It's the same with package design. Here is an example of a project we did involving a test for blind people. How can blind people distinguish between shampoo, conditioner, and body wash? Package design standards are aimed at people who can see information. For design to be inclusive, we have to recognize these standards within things we take for granted. Secondly, we start project with users who have developmental disabilities. Here is an example of playground we designed. How do children with developmental disabilities play? Have you met children like this? We wanted to design a playground where disabled and non-disabled children could play together. We observed countless children and interviewed about 150 parents of children with developmental disabilities. We decided not to follow rules and allow the kids to take the lead through playing. We took into account physical differences. Teenagers with developmental disabilities have friends who want to come to the playground. So we also accounted for the diverse physical spectrum ranging from young to older children. Finally, we made sure that disabilities weren't treated as special, where disabled people can play without standing out. This is a concept image. We used 170 high-strength paper pipes to create a neutral space. Because everyone likes to climb, hide, and crawl, we focused only on the essence of playing. This is the same for children with developmental disabilities. We also used these paper pipes to create places for resting. And next image. Just keep going. And yes, this is my daughter. Yeah. And third one, yes, it's about realizing the essence of the user. Why do some people with disabilities use tools like this? Next page. Why do some people with disabilities use tools like this? Because they have to spend life sitting down. They prepare several remote controls, use a stick to flip switches, and install bars to help them walk throughout the house. This is the person from the first example I showed. Can you see her using a stick to press the water purifier button? And this is home of Karen Bermeyer, an Obama administration accessibility commissioner, who we interviewed. The kitchen is fully customized for her convenience. Next. He was paralyzed from the waist down, but he installed a feature called a hand controller that allows him to use the car accelerator and brake at the same time. But why does he choose to drive a car? He drives because of free will, but not in philosophical sense. Free will means that willingness to live independently, work, participate, and choose what people want. Next page. Everyone experiences the freedom of choice and the joy of doing things on their own. I think inclusive design means giving the freedom to choose and the joy of doing things on their own to as many users as possible. Lastly, I would like to introduce someone who really opened my eyes. His name is Chris Doney, and he's a visually impaired architect we met 2 years ago. I asked Chris about considering accessibility in design, and he gave me this answer. In buildings, parks, and throughout cities, how can we speak to the beauty and joy found within the experience of people who can't see or hear? If you think about it this way, accessible design is not just allowing access. It's a positive act that makes life more vibrant for someone. I hope everyone participating today can make someone's life more vibrant. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Really inspiring.
Thank you so much, Bang. So definitely check out Missionit and also MSP magazines. A lot of really inspiring stuff going on. You can find on the chats. We will link the ones on the comments. Yeah. So Francesco.
Yes, Francesco, if you want to take control in the meantime of the remote. Yeah, thank you. Last but not least, I welcome Francesco Vergani. Francesco is a postdoc research fellow at the Department of Design of Politecnico di Milano, and is member of the Polyme Thesis Lab, which is part of the Thesis Network globally. And he will share with us one particular project, which is off-campus Nolo, which is amazing. And he will teach us how service design can have a positive impact, reshaping interactions in public spaces.
Yeah, thanks, Julia. Thanks, first of all, for inviting me today to be part of this great event. So I'm Francesco Vergani. I'm part, as Julia was saying, of the Polyme Thesis Network. That is a research lab dealing with a project of design for social innovation and sustainability. I'm here today to talk about the Off-Campus Nolo, which is a neighborhood living lab, mainly a place in which university expertise can be shared inclusively with citizens, associations, investors, so private and public bodies, to co-design solutions with and for the society. So as Politecnico di Milano, we are promoting these initiatives within a social responsibility program called Polysocial that was launched in 2012, aiming at developing an increasingly responsible university to basically serve society both locally and globally. So the Off-Campus initiative aims at strengthening the presence of the Politecnico di Milano in the city of Milan for a university that is more, let's say, attentive to social challenges, open and close to territories and communities. As you can see here, it supports, let's say, research and classes in field with a direct involvement of citizens and local stakeholders, trying to, let's say, connect the realm of university and situated communities in the city of Milan. Off-campus is managed by what we call the off-campusers, that are a group of Politecnico's professors, PhDs, researchers, but also students and interns that are working together for, let's say, these four shared objectives. So the first one is a responsible research as a knowledge co-production in marginal context. So our main, let's say, aim there is to co-design and co-produce a new kind of knowledge that it's not a knowledge that is produced just in the university realm, but is produced together with people. Second, innovative teaching through in-field and action learning. So again, it's not something that you do in the space of the university, but you do it on a daily basis in the public spaces of the city. Then we do everything by co-designing and developing project with the community, trying to reactivate, let's say, local groups of people. Last but not least, inclusion and citizens' participation through a neighborhood project and services, trying to really get the attention on how people can do their best in their job for improving the daily well-being of citizens. Off-campus, our off-campus, because we have 4 off-campuses in the city of Milan, is located in Nolo, which is a vibrant neighborhood in the northern part of the city of Milan. And the rich and, let's say, cultural diversity of Nolo is expressed by what we called the creative community of Nolo, which is a wide group of proactive people who are, let's say, actively involved in projects to enhance the neighborhood's livability and also the, let's say, the appeal of the neighborhood itself. The off-campus is located inside of the municipal market of Nolo, which is a landmark for the neighborhood and a pretty historical building that, of course, it needs, let's say, a structural renovation and a functional revitalization as it is right now. The market is a unique architecture, as you can see here from those pictures that were taken in 1933. So when the market was open, it was characterized by these structures that reminds, let's say, a cathedral with 3 different naves. It was the first municipal market built with reinforced concrete in the city of Milan. So it is in this place that, thanks to a concession or a license to a new space of the market given by the municipality of Milan, we opened our headquarters of Campus Nolo. We always talk about the, let's say, the physical and instrumental component of this living lab as platforms, so platforms in which we can bring together a diversity of actors for this knowledge exchange and trying together to, let's say, dynamically generate a collective sense of belonging in a very inclusive way. So since 2020, we are mainly developing projects, several different projects, research projects, more spot, let's say, project for the community, but also promoting cultural, social initiatives together with the people over there, and organizing events that are very wide in terms of social, promotional, cultural, recreational events. We are trying really to work into 4 main topics, let's say. So we are dealing with project about proximity, but also about the access of food, so the problem of food. Circularity in its very, let's say, open ways, and also trying to be as much inclusive as possible by trying to research also the more than human part of the neighborhood. So everything that it's not human, plants, bacteria, and also animals, trying to say that design, it's not just something that human beings do, but it's like a collective kind of action. So campus, first of all, as I was saying, is an hybrid space open to the neighborhood. As you can see here, we have some pictures of the spaces. We have 2 spaces inside, plus an additional tiny space for the neighborhood web radio, because we are hosting them. They are coming to Nolo to, let's say, create podcasts and programs together. But we also were able to redesign an unused space outside of the market that was mainly used for rubbish and garbage by the shopkeepers of the market. We redesigned it into a platform for people. Then it's a hub for workshops and seminars with people. So we are trying really to get the attention of working together to create solutions. By solutions, I mean special, but also services, a very, let's say, variety of solutions together. Then it's also a space for exhibitions and public events. Again, we are granting this space for free to people of the neighborhood to, let's say, manage and organize several different activities with us, but also by themselves. That's why we called it a platform mainly. And last but not least, we see of campus as a nest, let's say, that it's open to the needs of the community. This in particular is a project, a service we developed back in 2020 in the pandemic time, and it is still ongoing. What we're doing basically is to provide for free food products to people in need in the neighborhood. Since we are doing this thing together with Korea, I really want to say that we are honored and delighted to share that the project was awarded and was one of the finalists at the Seoul Design Award 2023 last year. So we very let's say delighted and happy to share the project in Seoul. It was a great experience, and I really appreciate what you guys let's say did for us last year. So just to conclude this very brief presentation, I always love to say that off-campus is kind of a prime example of how universities can invest in this, let's say, third mission of the university, so creating social value, and be a link between people and places, promoting this, let's say, inclusive processes that stand between bottom-up and top-down approaches. So this kind of middle-out engagement of society, trying also to define, let's say, new responsibilities and roles for academics and trainees from the university. Thank you.
Thank you.